What's the biggest promise your parents broke? When I was 12, my parents sat me down for one of those serious talks that every kid dreads. They explained that they were getting divorced, but here's the kicker. They promised me it wouldn't change anything. We'll still be a family, they said. We'll still do everything together, just from different houses. The biggest promise? Every Sunday would be family day. No matter what, rain or shine, new relationships or busy schedules, we'd spend Sundays together. All three of us. They swore on it, made me pinky promise and everything, which felt so important at 12. For the first few months, they kept it. We'd go to the park, have lunch, sometimes catch a movie. I actually started believing that maybe divorce wasn't the end of the world. Maybe my parents were different. Maybe they'd figured out how to do this right. Then Dad met Rebecca. It started small. Dad would check his phone during our Sunday outings. Just work, he'd say, but I could see her name on the screen. Then he started cutting our time short. Something came up at the office. Sure, Dad, the office that apparently looked a lot like Rebecca's apartment. Mom tried to compensate by planning elaborate activities, but she was clearly struggling. She'd put on this fake cheerful voice and suggest things like mini golf or ice cream, but I could see the sadness in her eyes every time Dad made another excuse. The final straw came 6 months later. It was my 13th birthday weekend, and we'd planned this whole thing. Mini golf, then my favorite restaurant, then a movie. I was actually excited because it felt like old times when they'd planned it together during the week. Sunday morning, Dad calls. Rebecca's ex-husband was dropping off her kids unexpectedly, and she needed support. He'd make it up to me next week, he promised. Next week turned into next month, which turned into when things settled down. I remember sitting in that restaurant with just Mom, both of us pretending everything was fine, while the waitress asked if we were still waiting for someone. Mom ordered Dad's usual burger just in case, and we both watched it get cold. That was 8 years ago. We never had another family day. Dad married Rebecca 2 years later. I was invited to the wedding. But honestly, it felt like watching a stranger. He'd become this different person, someone who prioritized his new family over promises to his old one. Sunday became his day with Rebecca's kids. Apparently, promises to 12-year-olds have expiration dates. The worst part wasn't even losing the Sundays. It was realizing that my parents had lied to me about something fundamental, that I would always be their priority. They'd promised me that divorce wouldn't change our family dynamic, but it completely shattered it. Mom eventually started dating too, and while she never explicitly broke promises like Dad did, those Sundays became about her healing and moving forward, which I understand now as an adult. But at 13, it felt like abandonment all over again. I think this is why I have such a hard time trusting people when they make big promises. My own parents, who were supposed to be the most reliable people in my life, couldn't keep the one promise that mattered most to me. Dad still sends birthday cards and occasional texts. We have a polite relationship now, but it's surface level. He's never acknowledged breaking that promise, and honestly, I don't think he even remembers making it. But I remember believing them when they said nothing would change. Sometimes I wonder if they meant it when they promised, or if they just said what they thought I needed to hear. Either way, it taught me that promises are just words, unless the person making them is willing to sacrifice for them.